Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a red Christmas truck with a wreath on the front and a little Christmas tree in the back. We're going to simplify it quite a bit so that it's a little bit more beginner friendly, but this is just going to be our starting point here. And I'll show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat during our live show, so if you've got questions while I'm painting, you can ask those and I will try to answer them. Let's get started. All right, so this was my reference photo. Actually, we had, there was a couple of dogs driving the truck, but I decided to take those out. I did not even want to go there, tackle the animals in the car. So I just kind of did a little very, very basic Photoshop editing here on the original photo, just to kind of gray out that window. And then I cropped it. I decided to go ahead and do a 8 by 10 inch canvas because it was kind of a small area for the truck to go in, but you could really use any size canvas. I'm using 8 by 10 Belgian linen archival canvas board from Fredrix. They're our canvas sponsor, so thank you to them for the use of their canvas today. And I'm not giving it back, so I've got a couple of some of my brushes here that we'll be using. Number 12 bright, just a large flat for the background. Number 8 bright for some of the smaller details in the background. Number 4 filbert, number 2 round, and those are the 6100 series in the Princeton brushes. And then I've got a 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch angle shader. Those are kind of if you buy 2 brushes this year, I would buy those 2 because they're so versatile. You can do dots, you can do lines, you can do all kinds of stuff with these. These are the VelvetTouch from Princeton. This is the Willow's blender, 3/8 inch from Princeton. And then we'll use a fan brush because we're definitely adding some snow, obviously, and for splatters. And then maybe a number 1 select just for some of the lines. And I think that should get us through the painting. We'll see how it goes as we go. I'm going to be painting this live for the first time too.
Hold on.
What?
You did not introduce the paints.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm about to do that. Okay. Thank you, honey, for reminding me. Zinc White, Unbleached Titanium, Titanium White, Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium Red Medium, Cadmium Red Light, Yellow Oxide, Cadmium Yellow Medium, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Phthalo Blue Green Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, and Carbon Black, and I ran out of room on my palette. You can see it kind of a little smaller as I get.
What grade are you in?
I know. It's like I tried to write my name really big at the front, and then it got smaller and smaller and smaller.
Curves around.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, at least you didn't put an arrow pointing to the other side of the
palette. To the other
palette.
side. Yeah, I might have just done an arrow and put it up here. It probably would have been smarter. If you don't have these exact colors, you can just use whatever you've got that is similar. Most of these colors can be mixed, or something similar can be mixed. And I did, if you're looking for kind of a basic color list, I did that in one of my art chats recently on my Thankful Art group in Facebook, so you can check that out if you want to. I said what 8?
Just right now,
what
not right
8
now.
Colors? No, just not right now. What 8 colors are the kind of the basic ones that you could use for mixing all the others?
White.
White, yep.
Yes.
This one, Quinacridone, Cadmium Red Light, Cadmium Yellow Medium. Well, Yellow Oxide was in there. And then Phthalo Blue. And then Burnt Sienna and Carbon Black. That was it.
Wow.
That was the list. And the rest of these can be mixed from those pretty much, or something similar, at least close enough, so. All right, so I'm going to do the background a lot less detailed than our photograph is. So I'm going to use let's see, what do we want to do for the background? Let's do some gray back there. So I'm going to do Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber. That's kind of my go-to gray lately. Really like how pretty it is. And I'm going to do a little bit more on the blue side. So just like twice as much blue as brown, and then quite a lot of white. We'll just kind of use this for the background. A little bit more blue than that. I think it's a little too gray still. And you notice that I'm kind of pulling the colors from here and then bring them to a clean spot on my palette. That way I can keep my my colors fresh and they won't get kind of polluted with the other colors that we're using while I'm mixing. So, because if you don't want to mix too close to where your color is located on your palette, it will it'll just mess up all the other colors around it. You just don't have room over there. And if I tried to mix it over here, ended up getting these two colors in it too. Plus, I leave that kind of backside of the paint puddle free, and then as I work, this will stay fresh. It'll stay moist longer. The paints, your paints will stay moist longer. If you're having trouble with your paints drying out while you're working, you may not be putting out enough paint on your palette. You may just try adding a little bit more paint down and then only picking up from one side so that the other side is kind of left alone. And I kind of try to keep it in the smallest area possible because, you know, the more condensed it is, the less likely it's going to dry out. The more you spread it out like I'm doing here, this is going to dry way faster than that paint puddle right there will. All right, so as I get down toward the bottom, I'm going to start kind of doing this side-to-side thing with my paint. I'm going to add more white to it. So I'm going to get a lot of white in my brush here, and I'm just going to go side to side so that it looks like kind of snow happening back there. And then right in front here, I'm going to grab some phthalo blue. So this snow down in the bottom here is getting a lot of shadows from the trees around it. I'm going to do a little bit brighter blue in my white, and I'm doing it really quickly. You see, I'm kind of being sloppy about it. Oh, I'm kind of going off camera there, sorry. I guess I'll try to leave it this way. It's harder to do the horizontal lines when you're straight up and down here. Or phasing it, but... All right, and then right underneath our truck, we're going to have kind of a darker area. So I'm going to grab that phthalo blue, a little bit of that burnt umber, and just do a little dark area right where our truck's going to sit, kind of right in the middle. And our truck in our photograph doesn't have the tires showing, but I'm going to move this up so we have tires here and here. So I'm just going to try to figure out kind of where the tires are and sort of do my color in there somewhere. And our truck's going to probably start right about here. So I'm just going to go side to side here. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is one we're just going to try to keep it really easy, really beginner friendly. So the main thing with this is just kind of have fun with it.
That sounds like a good tip.
Not don't get caught up on any one little detail, because most of this stuff is going to be covered up. So a lot of times I see, you know, beginners, they'll, get in here and they'll be like, oh, that brush stroke is just all wrong. And they'll just kind of go back and forth over one spot and kind of get tunnel vision and get caught up in one little area of the painting that nobody's ever going to notice or see, So just kind of know that going in, let it kind of happen. If there's something that you don't like, you can always fix it later. But a lot of times when you're kind of in the middle of painting it, and especially if you're a beginner, you kind of get sucked into these little areas here, and you don't see the whole thing as the big picture that you got going on. You kind of focus in on these little teeny tiny details that just not that important. So, all right, I'm gonna add some more of this white. I'm just kind of trying to get a little bit of, and our let me see, our foreground kind of starts a little bit below center. Like, so here's our center. So just a little bit below there, I'm doing like a little bit of a white bank in there. Might do a little bit of the darker. A little bit of white on either side coming in. And then back here, I'm going to grab that brown, mix it in. While this is wet, I'm just going to do some little trees. And just try to do these quickly. You don't have to, I'm getting really, really close to this background color, so I'm not going to do too much detail here. I'm just kind of if I get it really wide, I just want to kind of make sure that it's wide all the way up. But if I press my brush flat, I can get a fairly thin line on this. And I mixed it in with this color that we started with. So it's real close to this original color. Not too dark. If you get it too dark, just add a little bit of white to your brush, and you can put some in that are a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to try to do several little lines that are close to each other that kind of make it look like there's something going on back there, but nothing really super defined. And then I'm going to just use the corner of my brush and tap in a little bit of kind of greenery or something happening back there too. You can do some a little higher than others. If you kind of do some of your trees a little bit lower than others, you can kind of make it look like there's different. Some of them may be a little closer to us than others. There we go. Okay, and then we can, if you want to get real fancy about it, you can go back in and put a few little smaller branches in. Whatever you want to do back there. But most, our truck is our foreground. Our truck is our main focus. So we're not gonna, and that's why I decided to just go ahead and simplify this background. It does two things. One thing, it just gives more focus on our truck, because there's a lot going on in our picture. There's just a lot of distractions back here happening. And it also just makes it easier, more accessible for a beginner painter. So 2 reasons there. I'm going to grab some more of the Ultramarine Blue, and I'm going to come up underneath our trees and just kind of add a little shadow. So just a little, that Ultramarine Blue mixed in. It's a little bit more kind of a purpley tone than the Phthalo Blue does, so it's going to make it look a little farther away maybe. And this is still kind of wet, so it's merging a little bit. If yours is starting to dry, because I did this pretty quickly here, if yours is starting to dry, you can just use a little bit of white, put a little white or a little bit of this color down if you want to before you do this step, and it'll kind of blend it in with it. All right, I think that's good. And then, like I said, really most of this is going to be covered up, so we're only going to be seeing the tops of these trees for the most part. I might put a little bit of these more blue trees back here too. Okay, there we go. All right, so there's our background. I'm going to go ahead and let you dry this for me today, honey, if you don't mind. Oh, he's gone. Okay, I don't know where he went to. Oh, I know what he's doing. He made bread this morning, so he's trying out a new bread. He left it like the wrong time, though. I would yell, but you guys would hear it. So. All right. Well, I really can't do anything much with it right now at this point because it's going to be... I need you to dry this, honey. Okay. Thank you. Let me see. I think I've got... There we go. It's been a while since we've worked on our stickman guy, but... We'll, I don't know. Where can we fit our little red truck in here? Maybe there's a little... Because it's a ginormous door compared to our tree. Oh, my goodness. This is so out of proportion, isn't it? Okay, let's have him holding a little red truck. How about that? Like he's gonna give it to somebody for Christmas. There's a little... Stickman is Mark's creation. He kind of created him several years ago, actually. I don't know how long. This is, I think, our fourth or... No, I think we may have even, like, maybe sixth creation of stick man. There, he's holding his little truck. He's going to give it to somebody, whoever he's going in. There, we should put a wreath on the door. Maybe we'll do that later if we've got time. I don't think we'll need to dry it again, though. You left like right as I needed you to dry it. Like I was like, hey, I'm going to need you to dry this. And I look over and you're gone. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I went to take the lid off the jalapeno cheddar bread.
Ah, the lid off of it. Okay, I thought you had to take it out of the oven.
15 more minutes.
Ooh, yum. It's going to be delicious. We're making Christmas cookies tonight. Got a Christmas cookie party on Monday, so I've got to make about 8 dozen Christmas cookies today. Today and tomorrow. All right, so I'm trying to figure out where I want to put my wheels, because those will be kind of the sort of towards the outside of the truck. So I'm thinking like right in here. That'll give us a little bit of room out the sides. This is going to be the widest part of our truck. So I'm just going to kind of use my fingers as the measure and just kind of do this little square. You know what? I want to go a little bit higher, because if we frame it, our frame is going to cover most of that bottom 1/4 inch. So let's go just a little bit higher with our tires. So let's go right up in there. There and there. Maybe a little bit farther out. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Okay, then I'm going to do a, let me see if I should use a different. I was using chalk there, but I think I'm going to use my graphite aquarelle pencil. Just very carefully do it. So you want the bottom kind of rounded off. We're going to put a little bit more snow there so that it makes it look like the tires are digging into the snow. Obviously, we don't want them floating on top of the snow. Unless that's ice. Maybe it's ice. I don't know. But, so then we're going to do a long line here. We didn't say hi to everybody.
No, we didn't.
Hope you guys are having a good weekend, Christmas, all that good stuff. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're always glad to have new folks joining us. We've got an awesome, amazing group of followers that are just the sweetest people you'd ever want to meet, who watch us weekly.
Mm-hmm. And
send us goodies. We got more goodies in the mail.
Oh yeah, we did
this week. Trisha, we're going to be opening that on Thursday.
I was just going to say, and to those who are not new to the channel, we welcome you also.
Absolutely, yeah. As always. Hope you subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. Let everybody know what we're doing here. All that good stuff. Okay, so there's our little bumper. Kind of curved it up here a little bit on either side. Rounded it out. And then we're going to go just outside of that and do another little bubble for our grill. And it's going to come up to about the halfway mark on our canvas. So if this is our halfway mark, we're going to come just maybe just below that, because it kind of dips down right here. So kind of do like a little curved line sort of right in the middle there. And then angle it down and out. Can you see this okay? Is this too light? Okay. All right, so I kind of found the halfway mark, came down just a little bit below it and did sort of this very, very slightly curved line, and then sort of angled down from there and out, rounded out the sides and kind of met it up with just outside the edge of the, and really this is a little bit less rounded than I made it here. But honestly, there's so many different red trucks out there. You can't really go wrong, I guess. It kind of goes around here and then it sort of goes straight down. So kind of curve it there and then go straight down. And then curve it again as it comes down to the bottom. So it'll be a little bit better. There we go. And then we're going to come in about, looks like about the width of the inside of the tires. So like kind of come up from the inside of the tires. It's a pretty narrow truck, maybe a little bit farther out than that, but not much. Maybe the middle of the tires, kind of come up from the middle of the tires there. So we're going to round it out a little bit and come up and do the top of our truck. The top of our truck is kind of about the quarter mark. So if this was our halfway mark, if you kind of do the quarter mark, we're going to just kind of do a straight line right there at the top of the truck and then round out the edges. There, and then there's this part of the truck that kind of comes up. We're seeing this little windshield part is pretty small, so we're going to do our little windshield pretty close to the top of that truck that we drew, the cab. I'm using all these technical terms, right? As usual, if you come here for your math or scientific explanations of things, you're at the wrong place.
You're such a truck person.
I am such a truck person. Yeah, I think I've ridden in about 3 or 4 of them, maybe. I used to ride in the back of my aunt's truck. They go around the neighborhood.
How long have you lived in Arkansas?
They don't allow you to do that anymore. What?
How long have you lived in Arkansas?
I know.
You
it's
haven't
almost
bought a
like
truck
a.
yet.
I know. It's kind of. I think they're going to kick us out of Arkansas soon if we don't buy one.
Probably.
All right, so I'm going to go out just a little bit on either side here, and then curve up. Like that for this front part of the grill. There's a little side piece that we're seeing there. It's actually not fully straight on. This one's like angled a little bit. So we're seeing, if we want to though, we could probably, I don't know if I like that. I think I'm just gonna kind of center everything. I think it'll make it easier for us. So to draw it. So I'm just going to kind of guesstimate where that would be. Let's go ahead and do a little front of our truck right there. We'll see a little bit of the sides on either side. And then there's kind of a split down the middle. And then on either side. And then these little vents that come in like that and split. There. It's definitely hard to see this, isn't it?
Yeah, but you have a solution for that, though.
Well, that's true. I've got traceables available. So if you don't like to draw, don't want to draw this, but still want to paint it, that is totally fine. I have traceables available on Patreon. It's $1 a month for as many traceables as you want to download. No extra charge. Unlimited downloads. Okay, so there we go. Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. And then actually in our photo, there's actually a little bit of the background of the cab. Like there's a window back there kind of showing through, so we can do that if we want to. I'm not sure if I'll do the whole windshield in the same or not, but all right, so there's our basic.
Hey, real quick, what level painting do we consider this one? Is this kind of more intermediate to advanced? Or?
A little bit. It depends on how much you simplify it. Like if you kind of leave out some of these details that I'm doing here, it could be a lot easier, you know. So I'm trying to simplify it somewhat.
So with the traceable,
but I would say
it'll put it more towards the beginner side.
I think so. I think so.
So
yeah,
without traceable, it might be a little bit intermediate.
Yeah, if you're going to have to draw it, maybe a little bit more intermediate. But I think that with the traceable, it'll be doable. It'll just take a little bit of brush control. So you just have to kind of take your time when you're painting it, because there's a lot of these details in here that we'll have to be doing. So okay, I'm going to do kind of an oval shape right here. And I am changing it up from the drawing a little bit to kind of change this front of the truck. So that's, actually hopefully will help make it easier to draw. So it kind of comes around where the two headlights are going to be, and the headlights will be just inside of the wheels. There and there, and then you put your oval kind of around it, and then it comes down and comes real close to the bottom of this bumper, or right up to the bumper. About halfway, maybe a little bit farther than halfway down here is where this is going to curve in and down. Right there. Right? And then there's going to be these grill pieces that come across. 1, 2, 3, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just kind of drawing in the center of them, and they're going to come all the way to about right here and here. 3, 4, 5, and that'll be black under there. So we'll paint that in black. Okay, so there's our basic drawing for our truck. Not too bad. Not too bad. I really don't think it's if you kind of just take it slow, and I think it's totally doable. All right, so let's fill in our truck. I'm going to go ahead and grab that Cadmium Red Medium. A little bit of the Quinacridone, because I want it to be kind of a cherry red. Really bright. And let's just go ahead and start filling it in. I switched to a 3/8" angle brush. And the nice thing about this is because we're dealing with like a snowy winter scene, what we're going to do is kind of splatter the whole thing. We'll add snow on top. So you don't really have to be like, the only part that you have to be super careful with are kind of maybe the side edges and the borders of the interior of the, details. But we're going to put snow on top of everything, and you can, like, if you make a big boo-boo on here, you can totally cover it up with, just throw some snow on top, or, there's ways. What I'm saying is it's a little bit beginner friendly, because there's ways of kind of fixing some of the things if you have a mishap. Also, you could see where I kind of went outside the lines there. If you kind of wipe it off immediately, you can get it off pretty easily. Acrylic paints cover over nicely, so you might even keep a little bit of that background color saved, like mix up a little bit extra when you do your background, and put it on a foam plate and cover it with plastic wrap so that it stays moist. And then if you need to fix anything later, if you kind of go outside your lines out here, you could grab some of that and dab it on there to kind of help cover things. There's all kinds of stuff happens when you paint, so no telling. But that'll make it a little bit easier, because we did kind of use a couple, 2, 3 colors for that background. So it might be a little bit difficult to recreate just the exact color later. All right, so I'm doing that part with this dark red. And you may need a couple of coats, so you may have to do this a couple of times. And if you do, that's totally normal. Don't worry about it if you do. Oops, I got a little too far down there. That part's supposed to be white. There we go. And I'm just kind of doing these in separate sections, because this part up here, I want it to be a little bit different color, so I'm going to add it later. After I paint this, I'll add that part in and change my color just a little bit, but I'm still working with this kind of quinacridone and cadmium red medium mixture here. So keep using that. And if you really wanted to simplify it, what you could do is leave out this part here completely and just, move this part down so you just have this bottom section and the cab. You could leave out the, the part that's kind of sticking up, because that's probably one of the more difficult parts of this painting will be, getting that just right. I'm going to grab the Cadmium Red Light and just go ahead and kind of throw some paint on there. That's a little bit different.
It smells incredible out in the kitchen right now.
Jalapenos and cheese. What's not to like about that?
If there was smell-o-vision right now, people would be going crazy.
It's going to smell even better tomorrow when we start baking Christmas cookies.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be really yummy.
How many are you going to make for me?
I don't know. How many do you want?
Well, you know how I like them, so.
I know. I didn't make enough last year. Mark gets the leftover dough, pretty much.
I get the scraps.
Because he likes his Christmas cookies super thin. So I make all the fancy Christmas cookies first, and then I use the scraps to make Mark's cookies. Poor guy.
Hey, it all tastes awesome. I don't care what they look like. They go in my mouth the same way.
Yeah. And that pretty much is the sound that you make when you eat them. Kind of like
a Cookie Monster.
I think so.
I think that's where they got the idea from. Watching me eat the Christmas cookies.
Yeah. All right. So once you get your paint on there, you can kind of see if you need to move things around too, So sometimes my drawing is a little bit off, and usually when I paint it, I can kind of see if there's anything I need to adjust, but I think we did all right. I'm going to clean that out. And I'm going to go ahead and mix up some blue with the quinacridone and burnt umber. So making a kind of a deep purpley brown color. The Ultramarine Blue and burnt umber make that gray that we used before in the background, right? And then the quinacridone just makes it purple. Mix that gray a little bit more purple. And I'm going to use that in the cab of the truck. A lot of this will be covered up when we do our windshield kind of, stuff, but that's where the Zinc White comes in. We'll be using that over the top to kind of add some. Zinc White is just a transparent white. So if you don't have it, that's fine. You can just use titanium white. It'll be a little bit more obvious where you put your white, but it won't matter too much. You don't have to go out and buy it if you don't have it. You can just add a little extra water. Okay, so there's the interior of the truck. It may be a little bit dark, but when we add our colors on top of the windshield, it'll kind of fade it out a little bit.
So,
grab some black. What?
Real quick, just jumping back to the Christmas cookies.
Mm-hmm.
You have a video a couple of years old, right? Where you were decorating the Christmas cookies?
I do. It's one of the first live shows I ever did, actually. I think we had like 12 people watching that day.
Hey, we were
maybe
excited.
20. Maybe 20. It was not a lot. Yeah, that was a failed experiment. the Christmas cookie show. I thought everybody was going to be so excited to see my Christmas cookies, but nobody cared.
Like, yeah. Whatever, painter girl.
Exactly. They were like, well, we want to see painting. So we never did that again.
If you've seen Angela's Christmas cookies, they are a work of art of each.
Thanks.
Oh, for sure.
Well, and what happened on that one was we had somebody, not you, doing our audio, my friend Carolyn, and she didn't tell me that the audio was messed up. So the first half hour of the show was completely edited out. So the show starts like 30 minutes in, and we're painting cookies. And we missed the whole front part where I was explaining a bunch of other stuff. And so it's kind of a messed up video. Just the whole thing was messed up from start to finish. Yeah, it just did not go well. All right, I'm going to use the number 2 round here to kind of do some of this other detail here. I'm going to grab the Unbleached Titanium and going to do this part with this. Definitely put on Christmas music when you're doing this. It'll make it a lot more fun. I hate that I don't get to play music while I'm doing my shows because it's very unnatural. I usually have all kinds of music playing when I'm doing my paintings.
So you're saying you want me to sing? Okay.
Don't. You're going to get us in trouble on copyright.
Is White Christmas a copyrighted song?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Silent Night isn't, right? Because
it's got to be over like 70 or I don't know. I can't remember what the cutoff is. It's either 100 years or 70 years since the date of the person who created it died. So that's like the cutoff on copyright stuff. There's something in there. So Irving and Berlin were in the 40s when I think it's them that created that song.
So it's 2018. So, I mean, we're right on the cusp.
Maybe.
All right, how about close. Silent Night? Silent Night is really old.
Please don't. Please don't.
Oh, man.
Just don't.
I want to see what your truck looks like after I sing for a while.
No, please don't. All right, let's do black. I'll go ahead and fill in these black. We'll be adding a bunch of highlights on top, but having that black underneath will kind of help give us a head start. Since there's all this dark around here, around the outside and things, we'll just kind of do our highlights on top, and then we won't have to do that dark circle around the outside of them, since we'll already have that dark in there. We'll just kind of go on the inside of it and fill in. And that one is lower than the other one, so I'm going to have to bring that one up higher. There we go. And I got to bring this one lower since I brought that one higher. If you want to, you could use a dotting tool. Like if you have a dotting tool that, that is the same size. I have one that's just a little bit smaller, so you could use one of those and do your little circles if you want to. If you don't want to have to paint them in, that'd be a way to do it with kids to simplify it. And you could do this whole front red instead of doing this white around it, like I did here. You could do the whole front red and then just do a square of black and the 2 circles, and then do your grill over the top of the red, and it wouldn't have to be, as fancy as we're doing here. So, just trying to think of ways that, if you're wanting to simplify this for your kids or do this with there's all kinds of different ways to do that. This would be a fun project to do with kids. And if you want to do the side view, if you are interested in that, I will be doing next weekend on Sunday. And if you want to see a picture of the reference photo, there's go to my community tab on my channel. Go to my channel homepage by just clicking my name or my photograph, and then go to the community tab. Click on the little community button at the top, and then it'll show the upcoming videos for December, and you can see the picture of the project that we're going to be doing. So it's going to be I'm trying to think. We're going to see a little bit of that there, and there's going to be angled down just a little bit. There we go. So yeah. That'll be fun. So we're doing the same thing, sideways, teal truck with a Christmas tree at the back and some gifts. So it'll be a lot more detailed, a lot more intermediate level project. So use the white here, mix up some gray. Use that on my bumper. And I'm actually going to kind of go side to side with this. I'm going to put it on. I'm going to kind of keep that top layer, top section straight-ish. And the bottom and side straight. Kind of pulled in like this. But this middle part is going to have all kinds of reflections from the snow. So if I kind of do the outline of the bumper with this darker gray, just dark enough so you can kind of see that it's different from the snow background. Kind of do the dark underneath. And if your paint's not flowing, that like right there, it was kind of breaking up on me, I just picked up a little bit of water, added that to my brush. So just be sure that you're adding water every now and then as you're painting. My water's off camera, so you can't see it when I'm dipping into it, but you can kind of see me pause between going to the palette. Like if you don't see my hand go straight over here, I'm usually picking up water. You can kind of see the shadow of where the water is up here.
I got on side cam there. They can just barely see it. Okay. Hey, what brush are you using?
This is the number 2 round. Okay, and it's going side to side. You can even leave a little bit of that blue from the background if you want to. There we go. It's going to pick up all kinds of different colors, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that Ultramarine Blue that we used in some of our shadows. Add a little bit of that in there. Just go side to side. Well, I got a little high on there. I think I had too much caffeine this morning. I'm kind of going a little fast. Just make our bumper a little higher.
You just want to get to that cheesy bread.
I do. I know. I am. I'm like rushing.
If you take your time, we can eat it on air.
No, that would just be cruel. That would be cruel. Not want to do that to people. All right, there we go. Side to side. Leave a little bit of the dark around the edges. And this middle part has some reflections. Kind of use that white and kind of add these long streaks in there. Okay, so let's go ahead, and while we've got this gray, this black, this part is dry. So let's do this, the grill. I'm gonna leave a little space, and I think this brush is about the right width, so I'm going to start right in the middle, and I'm going to come out from the edge and just try to do a straight line across, not pressing down very hard. picking up a little bit more of that gray. You'll kind of need the darker gray on the sides here where it's kind of going onto that silver. And then you have the lighter right there. Right across. Leave a little space. Go across. And if you want to, a really easy way of getting these lines perfectly straight is to use a ruler. So just set your ruler down and run your brush right along your ruler. And just, I've done it in, like if you watch the door painting that we just did a couple weeks ago, I used the ruler for most of the door. So just a really easy way of making straight lines beginner friendly.
So you're not using any type of a metallic paint here?
No, but you can. I think the metallic would be really cool.
Okay, yeah, somebody was asking something that was more chromey looking.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that I don't like about a metallics is it's harder to get depth with them, because what happens is they're all kind of one color. So they tend to cover up any kind of highlights and shadows and things that you have going on. So I would do this first. Even if I was doing a metallic, I would do this step first. So do the gray underneath, and that way you've got, because the metallic won't cover up the black very well. Do the gray, get a color. If you're doing gold, do the gold. Do like a yellow oxide or something like that underneath. And that way you've got a color that's similar to what you're going to want to end up, being similar to your metallic color. And then you can kind of just dust the color over the top and the metallic color over the top. And you don't have to try to fill in cover. Okay, there we go. So there's our grill. Let's go ahead and use this color.
We have a brush question.
Okay, go around. Go for it.
They would like to know if the number 2 bright is the same width as the round. Number 2 round, I guess.
That's a good question. I don't know. It's a little bit less.
So one's more flat.
Right.
The bright brush is
flat. But if
flat.
you press this flat here, it's pretty close.
Okay.
So I pressed that round flat. But the bottom is not the same width. No.
Okay.
All right, so let's do our lights. I'm going to just do a circle kind of right inside. This is probably one of the hardest parts of the painting, is just to kind of get that circle just right there. Get it, leaving that dark part around the outside. Doing a little bit of the gray and left a little bit of the black showing for now. I'm going to grab some white, add some white, little streaks through it. Why don't you zoom in so they can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit easier. There we go. That's good. Small brush strokes, just not trying to fill it in, but adding just little streaks. Like that around the sides. Leaving that dark. You can see why we did that dark now, hopefully, because it gives us a little bit of depth. And then going back in with the brighter white here. I'm going to add just a little bit of brighter white. Let's add a little bit of brighter white to our bumper. I'm going to come just underneath the top of it and add some side-to-side highlights. We can kind of pull in a little bit from the sides. rounded look. Get some of that darker color. Add some kind of random little zigzag shapes in there. Okay. And then I'm going to use that black. Mix a little bit of that gray in. Go ahead and do the tires while I got this color going on.
Now, what kind of tires are those?
You know what?
See, I can ask that because I'm sitting way over here. Out of reach.
And I was just telling David the other day how much you help lower my stress levels when I'm painting and stuff. What a help you've been.
Mm-hmm. See? So I'm just wondering if they're
Take it back.
Firestones or Goodyears or something.
Something like that. I don't know. Something like that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and use this number 2 flat. Because what it'll do is make it easier to get in these little corners right here. Because that is not wanting to go straight right there. So just right up against that edge there. I can get a flatter line there. And that tire is definitely bigger than this tire. So I'm going to have to work on this one. Get it to match. This is what happens when I try to draw it during the show instead of before the show. So this one definitely needs to come down a little bit more. There's a lot more editing to do.
You want me to stop the video while you do it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, and I'm going to, well, I've got it. Might as well grab some of that gray. I'm just going to do a little streaks into that wet paint. Just to kind of do the front part of that tire. Maybe do treads. Some like side to side. Right, and that how the treads would go? Side to side, yeah.
There you got all kinds of patterns.
Okay.
You have the vertical for the water channels and then side to side for let the water go out.
Little highlight on either side there. Okay. I'm going to go in and do the darker color kind of along that bottom edge of that bumper, clean that up.
They're saying they like it when you're figuring it out.
Oh, yeah.
And struggling
Well, good.
because it makes them feel better about themselves.
Good, good.
She does have her shortcomings. You should,
Oh, yeah.
You should have seen her oatmeal yesterday morning.
This is just a bad way to start the morning. I should have posted on Facebook. I almost did. I forgot. We were just too busy running around yesterday. Yeah, when my oatmeal's exploded. I forgot. I had new bowls, and I didn't have a clean one, so I grabbed one of my old bowls, and then I forgot, because it's been so long since I used one, that the oatmeal doesn't, my regular oatmeal thing, like if I don't watch it, it just goes over the top. So it's just like this whole big mess of oatmeal all over the clean microwave that I just got cleaned the day before. So that was nice too. Fortunately, it cleaned up pretty easily. Me, I know. All right, so let's grab some of this black. I'm going to thin it down So kind of water it down. You should be able to see through the paint. If you can't see through it when you kind of run your brush through, then you have it too thick. So thin it down, and I'm going to go right up along that edge and just kind of pull in just a little bit right along where it's going in there. Just kind of using my finger to kind of blend it out a little bit. It'll make it look a little bit more bent. It'll also kind of make it look like it's a little more. I think I'm going to go even darker right here. Just really dark line right there where those attach. It's these little details that'll really help make the painting look a little bit more realistic. What I could have done is gone with a darker color to begin with and just done a lighter highlight over the top. So that was another option, I guess, I could have done. Kind of like I did with the lights. I could have started with a darker gray and then just did my highlights in the white across the top, but I didn't. All right, so let's grab the white. And I still have a little bit of this color, you know, the other colors in there. I've thinned it out just a little bit with water, slightly see-through-ish. And we'll just kind of, whoop, I didn't want to get it up in that black area. Try to keep that black clean. I'm just going to do kind of like what we did on a bumper and just do kind of side-to-side little wiggles in our wet paint. This gray underneath is dry, though. I said wet paint. I really didn't mean that. That's not wet at all. It should be dry. There we go. Cute. All right, flatten that brush out, or get a smaller brush, and I'm just going to do a line straight down the middle. Right there. There's a little. Maybe that's not quite the middle. I don't know. Move it over a little bit. There we go. Good. All right, and I think we'll get brighter white this time. No water added. And do some brighter highlights. Right toward the middle there. There's going to be that big old wreath right here. So don't get too caught up in, you know, if you kind of made a little line mess up or something, we can put a little branch in front of it or whatever. The only part that's really going to show is this part right here and this outside edges. So everything else is kind of fixable with, I'm going to go ahead and see if I like that. I don't think I do.
So we've had some people join Patreon while we're doing the show.
Ooh,
thank you so
nice,
much.
Thank you.
And just for information, that Angela does the traceables from the finished painting.
Right.
So once she's finished with this painting, she'll do the traceable from this.
I usually do it that evening or the very next morning or something. Right. Yeah.
So hopefully within the next 24 hours, it'll be up.
Yes.
And posted.
Yes. Get a little bit smaller brush. Grab that white. Grab a little bit of that gray. And we'll do, you know what? I think I want to wait on this because I want to do the red details first before I try to mess with that. So I don't think I'm going to do that yet. All right, let's work on the truck part. So actually, I think I'm going to move to the 1/4 inch angle this time. And I'm going to grab some white to begin with. And I'm going to dab it around the bottom of those tires to create. And if we did it dark enough under here, this should show up. If it's not showing up, do a little bit of dark blue again. And then There we go. So then if you mess up on your tires or one's a little bit bigger than the other, you can kind of fix it with this. There we go. So he's got snow piled up underneath. Put some highlights in there. Just kind of running it. Maybe show where he came out of the car. Okay, good.
Truck.
What? What was that about?
You said where he came out of the car.
Truck, sorry.
So
sorry,
I
truck.
dubbed over truck.
I'm mixing the quinacridone and the cadmium red medium, or cadmium red medium, yeah. And I'm going to start highlighting the top of the truck with that color. I added the cadmium red medium because the quinacridone is so pink. And I mean, it's okay to do pink too, but it's not, you know, we don't want it to look like a pink truck. So if it's looking too pink, or you're using a different red that's a little bit more, little bit different, you know, tone than this, then you can always add a little bit of yellow. Yellow will make your reds a little bit more orangey and highlight better. Right, so grabbing some of that cadmium red medium and the cadmium red light now. I'm going to use that color up here. And I'm just sort of doing it side to side. I'm not kind of blending this in really carefully. And I'm going to do it along one side, one half of this. It'll make that look like it's poking out a little bit more. And then we're going to do it along the side of that, there, and along the side of that, there. There. Grab a little bit more white. A little bit brighter right there. A little bit brighter right there. And a little bit up at the top of the truck. If it's looking too bright, you can always grab some of that red and kind of blend it in a little bit. I'm just going to use the tip of the brush to sort of put this color in. And I can use it to kind of clean up the edges of my window. So this is just a little bit darker than the color that I used on the top. So these side parts I'm going to keep a little bit darker, do the highlight along the top, along this area, and along the very top of that. This part here is highlighted, but it's not quite as bright as these side areas. So, and this is where you can, you know, if you've got an area on your truck where it didn't cover very well or something like that, you can kind of go in and give it a second coat at this point. But we're just kind of tapping in. If you want it to be rusty, you could add some burnt umber to portions of it. Grab some of that burnt umber and use it. I'm going to use it to kind of outline this area here. Just a little bit, add a little shadow. But if I wanted to make it rusty, I could tap it in. You know, tap it into an area like that and make it look rusty, you know. So just kind of random dabs and it looks like a rusty truck now instead of like a fresh, clean truck, which I kind of like actually. I don't know. I'm going to blend that in though, since our truck is cleanish, but that's an option.
It's been restored.
It's been restored. Let's grab some of that burnt umber here. I'm going to go right up under here. This will really bring this part out. So right there. Now that's kind of separated those two. And if you want it even darker, you can grab a little bit of black. Come down just a little bit. And because remember, that's kind of curved down just slightly. Right there. And up right there. Okay, now we've got two separate parts. There's also a separation right here on the side of the truck here. And try to get it even here. I'm going to do that very lightly. I don't want it to be, you know, super obvious. Doesn't have to be. I want to square this part off. I noticed that this has got a little bit rounded somehow. So I'm going to grab my red. Square that off right there. And do the same thing on this side. There we go. There, now it's better. I'm going to bring this side up just a little bit, I think. Okay. Let's do some white. Going to blend with what's here. I'm going to do a sideways highlight right here. Do another one right here. Just using that edge of my brush. Do another one right there. Do another one kind of along the top of this. It actually kind of goes all the way to here, so I didn't do that yet. That goes all the way there. And this, we'll do the same over here. Let me grab some of this. Bright white, bright white. Little shiny spot right there. Not sure if I like that, but I don't know, we'll see. There's also one up here. I'm going to blend this one in just a little bit. I think I got it too big. All right, there we go. Are we close enough that people can see the detail there? That was okay?
I'm going to try my best.
Okay. Sorry, I know I'm moving
You're
it
spinning
around.
and going in and out, so I'm zooming in and out.
Thanks.
I don't want to make them sick, like, you know, zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out.
I'm going to use some black and some ultramarine blue here. This is actually a color called Payne's Gray, or similar to it. And I'm going to kind of outline the windshield with this color. I'm kind of blending it in a little bit, but it doesn't have to be blended too much. Okay, use the small brush here with the white and the brown, or the gray here. Let's add our little side chrome pieces here and here. And outline this. There is a line through the middle. That one's higher than the other one. Close enough, I guess. Let's grab some white. Put some little highlights on it. There we go. And this is where you can add more highlights in your grill or wherever else if you feel like you still need it. Add a little bit of blue. Do some light blue, gray highlights in here. This area is picking up a lot of the color that's under here, so actually let's use this phthalo blue because that was the color that we used down there, didn't it? So it'll look like we're picking up the reflections from the snow in our bumper. Okay. And then I'm going to use that burnt umber and just kind of outline on top of that. There and there, dark around here. It's these little details that are you know, going to make it a little bit more difficult. So if you're struggling with, you know, doing outlining and things like that, you could totally leave this part out. It would, you know, it'll look a little bit more primitive, but it'll still look really good. So, you know, just kind of know your, you know, your comfort level and do as much or as little as you want with your painting. You know, I kind of just dirtied that up a little bit with a wash of that brown. I rubbed it in with my finger there. Okay. So we're almost done with our truck. I like it. It's looking pretty good. And I noticed that there's a couple of really bright, shiny spots on our bumper. Need some fresh white. Going to kind of wiggle these lines on the bumper are kind of long and low. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, I'm pretty happy with the lights. I think I might add just a little bit of blue I see a little bit of blue in them. So add a little bit of the phthalo blue to my white here. Little. When I say little, I mean teeny tiny bit, because that phthalo blue just kind of takes over everything. It's so, got such a strong tinting strength. I'm going to add some blue in my lights there.
It's the thinking time.
I feel like I want, huh?
It's the thinking time.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like I want to bring this bumper out a little bit, so I'm going to bring it out just a little bit more. Because I think it's probably not that far in. Bring it closer to the edge of that truck. There, when I squared off that truck, I kind of made the bumper a little too short on the sides. So there, that. Sorry if you're painting along. This is pretty normal. I'm painting it for the first time too, so I'm seeing things as I paint that I want to change. So it's just,
well, it helps everybody
kind of normal. I mean, that's kind of pretty much the normal painting process, though. You know, you don't usually start a painting knowing exactly how it's going to go. You kind of work it out as you go, you know. So I'll grab some red, and I'm going to just go along the top here. This top of the truck kind of got up on one side here for some reason. So I'm just going to even that out. Oh, he's cute. I like it. It's really cute. Grab some of that white with my cadmium red. I'm seeing some highlights in here that I kind of took out when I cleaned up that rust, so I want to put those back in. There. A little bit right here that kind of just pull from the side in. Over the top of that darker red, and they'll kind of look like highlights. Or not kinda, it will look like highlights. No kinda about it. Okay, so this is rounded here. I don't know why I made it straight, but it's rounded here, so I'm going to go ahead and round those off. This side is a little bit more rounded, but this side wasn't. There we go. And then let's grab the Zinc White if it's still clean. I'm going to use a little bit of this purple, if you can get some of that purple that was on the inside here. Actually, this is the color. What did we use this color for? That ultramarine blue and black. What did we use that for? Oh, we used it on the windshield. So I'm going to use it a little bit on the inside here and just clean up the edge of the interior of that window that's showing. Wasn't very careful when I painted that in the first time.
Yeah, I know you weren't asking me.
How are you doing, hon?
Oh, I can smell that bread. I'm about to go get a piece.
I'm getting hungry. Okay, I'm going to use the quinacridone, a little bit of the burnt umber. And I'm going to do lines here on either side and down the middle. mostly on this one side because this side is the highlighted side over there. And blend that part off on the top a little bit. There we go. Okay. Let's do a little bit more of this color right here. Where that comes down. It's kind of burnt umber color. I'm going to go ahead and pull up from the bottom right there. Pull a shadow from that bottom a little bit. Do a little shadow right here. Darken this up right along that bumper there. Now I'm just kind of looking at the areas that are a little bit darker on my truck. I did kind of some highlights, so I'm going to kind of go back in and seeing that some of these areas need a little bit darker color. So I'm going to grab in that quinacridone and a little bit of the burnt umber just to make it a little bit darker. Adding shadows in there. Okay. Okay, now that bumper is clean again, let's go ahead and I added that dark color, add some highlights on it. Now that gray is dry, let's do our window. So I'm going to grab that Zinc White. I'm going to add a little bit of blue, add a little bit of that phthalo blue to it. Zinc White's transparent. If you don't have Zinc White, use glazing liquid or water here to thin out your white. You can use regular white, but just thin it out quite a bit. And I'm just going to go side to side over the top of this whole thing. I'm going to leave a little bit of that dark showing. So I'm kind of going just inside that dark border that I made. And sort of filling it in sort of side to side a little bit to give it a little texture. And you can see how it's lightening up that interior of the cab of the truck. I almost said car again. There we go. See that? Now I'm going to grab the regular white, bright white, and I'm going to add a little bit of white highlights, just streaking kind of sideways. Maybe something's reflecting off there. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on the cab of the truck. Let's do our little flashers. I'm going to grab that yellow oxide, a little bit of the cadmium yellow medium, maybe a tiny bit of burnt sienna.
People want to know, are you planning to put the tree in the back?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll put the tree in for sure. So here's our blinkers here and here. I'm using the
Are you going to be able to see the tree through the windshield?
Oh. That's tricky now.
That's why everybody was asking.
Well, darn it. Now y'all
Reality
messed
sets
me
in.
up. We'll still do it. We'll still do it. We'll probably have to do the windshield again, but yes, we will do it.
I'll go get you some bread.
Thank you.
Make you feel better.
Thanks. All right, some white with the cadmium yellow medium here. So I added a little bit of burnt sienna there. I'm just going to add a little bit of that on top just to highlight those little blinkers there. It looks like there's like a license plate on here too, so if you wanted to add a license plate, you could do it over here and maybe put your name on it or something like that. I'm not going to do it, but or if you ask me really nicely, maybe I will. I don't know. Okay, so depending on how big you want this wreath to be, we could have it start up here, you know, all the way up there. It's kind of low right in ours. I'm going to just kind of do it a little bit above where it is in our picture and a little bit bigger. I'm just going to tap in a circle. I mix the burnt umber with my phthalo green.
So, of course, you don't have to put a wreath on your truck.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier.
Oh, yeah, and if you want to do it, you know, so that it's all year long, you know, yeah, definitely I wouldn't do the wreath.
There's no fines or penalties.
Nope.
For not putting a wreath on there. We're not going to come to your house and...
No, and I think, you know, some people, you know, if they wanted to leave this up all year long, for sure, give it as a gift to somebody, you know, you could definitely leave this part out. That's why I kind of finished the whole thing first, so that you kind of, I should have taken a picture. Well, I guess I've got a picture on if we go back and take a screenshot. I'm going to grab a little bit of the phthalo, or the phthalo green mixture there with the burnt umber. I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow oxide to it, a little bit of white. And I'm just going to tap in some highlights. Kind of making it fuzzy. I'm using this brush, so I mean, I was going to use this brush, so if you wanted to, you could switch to, you know, a brush specifically made for foliage, but this one's been working okay, so I just kind of decided to stick with it, but whatever works for you. We did a wreath on our recent door video, so that was fun. And you could get as fancy as you want to with this, add lights or whatever you want to do. All right, let's go ahead and use the red, quick Quinacridone Cadmium Red Medium there. I'm going to add a little bit of burnt umber to make it darker. And I may have to wait for this to dry a little bit, but we'll see if it works. I'm going to just do my strings down that way. It's a little bit different in a video. It's a little higher, but, or in the picture, reference picture, but I kind of like it a little bit bigger bow. Going in with the brighter red, little dot in the middle. It's definitely mixing with my green, but it's doing okay. You might want to just do this green first, let that dry completely, and then do the bow. But I'm playing with fire here today, living dangerously.
You are pretty wild.
I am wild that way, yeah. Watch out. She's painting over the top of wet paint.
Do you want me to get your leather painting jacket?
I'm, you know, bad, you know what, today. Breaking all the rules.
A bad cook?
Not gonna say it. I might have kids watching. Bad cook probably could be. Could. Some days. I don't know. Most of the time I'm okay, but.
Yeah, most of your followers are, you know, kind of gang-like too, so. You don't want to mess with them in a dark alley and a paintbrushes. Just don't bring a paintbrush to a pellet knife fight. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, gosh. It's one of my favorite lines of yours. Going back in with brighter red here. Just wanting to add a little bit of brightness there. A couple spots. You're a mess. Okay, well, I'm happy with that. Yes, I forgot my tree. Darn it.
Maybe you can just have it laying down flat, sticking out the back, and
what?
They're going to be laying down, but
well, I mean, it could be laying across. Let's just strap it to the top of the truck. How about that?
What?
Let's just do it this way.
Can you do that?
Have it wrapped around this way. That work?
Sure.
Yeah, it's like strapped to the top.
Yeah.
He's got gifts in the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so no? You want me to take that off? Because I got to do it now.
No, it's fine. I just don't know if they would go down the road like that.
All right. Well, let me take it off real quick.
It's just a painting. It can be whatever we want it to be.
I thought I found a solution, but no, it's not. It's not good enough for you. It's okay.
I'm going to go get bread.
There we go. All right. Take two. So I'll just do light green back in here. Some of the dark green. Honestly, you could have done the whole thing if you don't want to have to mess with this. You could do the whole cab with this dark color, and then you don't have to worry about what I'm doing here. But if you're going to do the tree and you want it to show through the window, do this part first before you do your window. And then I'm going to...
There's a lot of sign going on over there right now.
No comment.
I'm just saying people probably wouldn't drive down the road with the tree strapped to their truck the long ways.
Whatevs. Be practical. It's all right. I see how you are.
But you're helping people do realize how they can fix things.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you catch it early, you can do just about anything with acrylics. I mean, you know, even if I had messed up the background completely, I could still paint it over it and, you know, around my truck stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and... Now, this is not going to look realistic, obviously. I am not using a reference photo here, so I'm just kind of messing with what. So let's go ahead and make this clear. This is a big old tree.
Only the best.
That's right. So the top of it kind of goes straight up, and then as you come around the sides, the pine tree kind of branches sort of turn. So these top ones kind of come up, and then the side ones sort of come out this way. There we go. All right, so this is just filling up the whole cab of the truck. This whole thing is Christmas tree here. Seeing it through that window. So I kind of don't like that, honestly. It kind of looks weird. Looks like there's something green inside. Like you can't really tell that it's the cab. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and cover it up.
Good double save.
Well, no, I mean, look at it. It looks weird. It looks like there's something green kind of sitting in the truck. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover the whole thing. And we'll leave the window out. If you had the right kind of lighting situations, you know, if the sun was hitting it just right on the windshield, you might not be able to see through it anyways. Maybe they have really tinted windows. The Santa is like gangsta. He's got like heavy tinted windows. All right, I think I like that better. That didn't look as weird to me.
And we've got it sticking out of the truck that way because if you just laid it in the bed of the truck, then you wouldn't see it. And
Right.
Then there's that.
The point?
You'd have to flip the painting over to see it.
All right. Using some of the lighter color here.
And nobody does that.
All right, whatever. Here. This is art. It can be whatever we want it to be.
Exactly.
I somehow got red over here. I think that's when I was wiping my tree off. Okay, there we go. You're looking good. All right, let's do this. Oh, I've left my brushes in the water. I know, hopefully I didn't leave them in there too long. If you're painting, you don't want to leave your brushes in the water because they'll crack, but you don't want to let them dry out either. Even if you clean them out in your water and you think that you've gotten all the paint out of them, 90% of the time you have not. So make sure that you always keep your brushes moist while you're working on your painting, and then afterwards take them to the sink, all of them, clean them out really well with soap and water. I just use dish soap, or you can buy a special, there's special kind of pink soap and different ones that you can use also. So I'm mixing a really dark green here. I just felt like my tree is not quite green enough. So I'm going to use a really dark, almost black, mixed black with my green. I'm going to put some dark green areas in here. Do you have bread? Are you going to eat your bread?
I didn't get any.
In front of me? Okay.
I sure wanted to.
Okay. You're being nice.
I may have smelled it a little bit, kind of awkwardly.
You could bring a little bit of this tree over the top of the truck too. You know, like some of it might be kind of over the top and sides of it right there too. I think, you know, if you're strapping it kind of where it's kind of a little bit resting against that side of the cab or the top of the cab of the truck, you know, it would probably go over the top of it just a little bit. So using that angle brush makes it fairly easy to make these kind of pine tree shapes. Kind of doing this fan shape here. I'm going to grab some more of the, actually let's use the Unbleached Titanium since we haven't used much of that. Use that with the Unbleached Titanium. A little bit of the, let's go ahead and use the Cadmium Yellow Medium. Make for a brighter highlight on our tree. There we go. And then I'm going to just kind of figure out where there might be some kind of parts sticking up close towards us. So I'm going to create these kind of arches. So I'm going to do another arch shape right here and do some little fingers coming down. Let's do a little bit here, like that. A little bit there, and that's all I'm going to do. And then let's use some of this color on our wreath because we want to have continuity, have this kind of similar colors going on. There we go. Oh, he looks cute. I like that. You're right. You were right, honey. You were right.
About what?
About the truck not being strapped to the top. I like this better.
Of course I was right.
Okay, let's see.
It's my one time this month.
Not quite dry, but I'm going to see if I can get away with just brushing over the top of it really quickly. Hopefully it won't lift off any color. There we go. Would not recommend doing that normally, but let's see. There we go. Okay. Good deal. Oh, there's also like, you could probably put like a, you might see the rear view mirror up there or something like that. Since it's close to the glass, it might be showing through a little bit. You might see some wipers. Do a couple wipers coming across in front. Maybe add a little white to them so they show up. A little bit of black and then white over the top. There we go. Cute. I like it. All right, so let's add snow to everything. So let's go ahead and switch to this brush now and grab that white. Oh, sorry, that's not the one I thought it was. This one, the scruffy brush. So Willow's blender. Add a little bit of water to it.
The scruffy brush.
I'm in my art brain, honey. I can't talk right now.
Hey, I'm good. Hey.
And leave this off. This is up to you whether you want to do this or not. But I think I want to add some snow around my truck. So I'm just going to kind of add it to the raised areas of it. Maybe along the top here, along some of our branches of our tree, because it's been out in the snow too, right? Get some of that snow. My snow's turning green because it's got touched that wet green paint. Okay. Clean my brush out so I don't have green snow. It can't be right. So not right about that. Let's put some on our bumper. Let's put some on the top of our wreath.
I don't think you could have moldy snow.
No.
There was a cute joke earlier. I forget who said it, but they asked, what you call an old snowman.
What?
Water.
That's good. Good.
Sometimes I think I talk like an NPR person.
You kind of do.
Good
you
times.
Have that wish.
Good times, yeah.
That like low kind of.
I won't do the SNL skit.
No, but I would highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Well, some people don't like body humor though, honey, so.
This is true. But I'm childish.
All right, so I'm trying to kind of stay just above my my details, where the snow would kind of be settling. I might even kind of just do some streaks up here where the kind of snow catches the windshields and sticks to it, kind of how it does, like icing it on it. So...
Hey, if somebody's on a tight budget,
yes,
what would you recommend for brushes?
For what?
For brushes.
I would get a large flat, so something for your background. You could in a pinch you could use like a cheap, for what we did in the background here. Instead of like buying a really nice flat brush, you could use a foam brush.
So our recommendation usually is get the best
brushes you can afford. Yeah, for sure.
But it is amazing that if you buy just one or two really high quality brushes, how big of a difference it'll make for you overall.
Oh, for sure. I would do a round, a 3/8 inch angle, a flat maybe around this size, and then have a larger one if you want. Like I said, you could start out with a foam brush if you're not doing a lot of details. The larger the canvas that you're doing and the more details that you need with your larger brush, I would get a really nice large brush, like a 12 bright. This is an 8 bright. This is the 3/8 inch angle. This is a number 2 round. You saw that I did most of the painting with those. And then I would get a very small round of some sort, like a liner or a small round for spot details. And then some sort of foliage brush, either a fan brush or you could do what I just did with the snow with the fan brush. Larger bushes and things, you could get yourself a sponge for foliage. These are like $1, so they're really cheap. And then, once you want to invest in something a little nicer, you could use, get yourself like a Deerfoot stippler or something like that. Or one of these that I'm using for more control, over. So did that answer it? I don't know.
Yes, so down below the video, there's a link to the brush guys.
Yeah.
And you click on that link and it takes you to Angela's recommended list of brushes. And you use the code AngelaFineArt for 5% off. And
the recommended list has all of the brushes that I ever use. Right. So there's a lot of brushes on there. But you don't have to, you don't have to have them all to start with for sure. So
you can send the link to loved ones and say, this is what I want for Christmas.
There you go. Yep. Make sure they use that code too for 5% off.
It would be like our oldest son. One time he gave us a PowerPoint of all his Christmas stuff.
It was awesome. It was like an animated PowerPoint too. There was like little video transitions and everything. It was awesome. Okay. Oh, he looks cute. I like him. Okay, so I'm going to add brighter highlights to my white up back in here. Just kind of at an angle. So I'm going to bring the foreground in a little bit. See how that does? Kind of creates a little perspective there. And then let's splatter the heck out of this guy. Is there anything else I've missed?
Let's do it.
Because you guys always see things that I forget.
I can see a Yeti in the background.
Really?
Of the reference photo. So can you pop that in real quick?
Oh, I didn't do the side mirrors. He's got a big old side mirror on here. No, but I'm not going to do that.
I don't see any side mirrors. Oh, yeah.
There's a side mirror right there. It's like a big long one.
It's long and thin. I've thought that there weren't any.
I guess we can.
No, don't. I wouldn't.
Okay.
No, don't do it.
All right.
Because then I would be wrong, and we don't want that to happen.
Okay. Why, is people saying side mirror and you said
No. I said it looks like people, in the olden days didn't care what was behind them on the road. Because I honestly did not see that mirror. All right. # splatter movement.
Splatter, splatter, splatter.
Dave, while you're sitting down.
Splatter, splatter.
Splatter, okay.
Splatter, splatter.
Splatter.
We need splatter, splatter. Okay, so we need to wet this down. It should be like a milk consistency to get the best splatters. And then you can kind of test it on your paper towel here, kind of test it on here to kind of see how big your splatters are going to be. Those are pretty good size. And just tap, tap, tap. I'm holding it up about, 6 inches from the canvas or so. You can tap with, hold it really firmly with one hand and tap with the other.
That's the crowd going crazy.
You're a mess.
I know. Maybe there's some like clapping and crowd yelling noises I can pipe in. That's royalty-free crowd.
Probably. Oh yeah, I have a.
Okay. I'll do that next time.
I'm sure I have access to that with TubeBuddy that I pay for. Oh, you look so cute. I love it. Hope you guys try this. This was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. And like I said, you could totally simplify this. Just do the top part. Leave all this part out. This part wasn't too difficult. You could paint the whole front part red and just do the grill and the lights and not do this, part around here. There's lots of different ways to simplify it, make it a little bit easier, if you're going to do it with kids or something like that. But yeah, I think that was a lot of fun. I don't think it was too difficult. I think I took a little bit longer than it probably needed to be because I changed a few things and added stuff, had to fix a few things. But super chat, yay. I'm going to put my signature up here with my Sigma Sakura Pigma FB pen.
Nice. And we had a lot of people in chat today.
Awesome.
And we had some awesome chats and 2 super chatty people. Their first one is from Cindy, and she says, "Thank you, Angela and Mark. Your painting tutorials are so helpful and enjoyable. Merry Christmas."
Merry Christmas.
So
thank you so
Cindy.
much.
And then this one is from Sin. And she says, always love your tutorials. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Sin.
Thank you, Sin.
And Sandy.
Cindy.
Cindy, sorry.
Sin and Cindy.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Sandy. Okay.
No, sorry.
It's all right.
And so where can they get all the supplies and stuff? Down
in the description. If you click the show more or the little arrow below the video, just below. If you're watching on TV, you're out of luck. But if you're on a tablet or computer or phone, you should be able to click the little arrow or the show more underneath. It'll drop down all the list of materials that we use, paint colors, brushes and everything, and links to the brush guides, to my Amazon store. I just added a really fun store on Amazon of Christmas stuff. So it's called Christmas Fun. If you go to the Amazon store link, it's amazon.com/Angela Fine Art. But the link is down in the description. If you go there, about 5% of your purchases go towards our channel. So it's a nice way of like supporting the channel and still, getting goodies.
Right.
And you don't have to buy the stuff on my list, but as long as you go through the link to my channel, to my
to Amazon,
one of my lists first, and look through the list, and then go elsewhere on Amazon, it credits to our channel. So that's kind of a nice way of helping support us without having to do any extra work, really, except for just going to the link.
Right.
But yeah, I've got all the lists of materials that I use, all the brushes, all the paints and everything there.
The yoga blocks
on Amazon, the yoga blocks that are underneath here that I've been using. I get a lot of questions about those.
Not a yoga blocks.
I know. Sure. They're going to be like, why are we selling all these yoga blocks all of a sudden? Yeah, that, and then what else I was going to say? Oh yeah, and then the Christmas Fun. I just kind of put a bunch of random stuff in there that I found yesterday on. I was having fun, so if you're looking for weird Christmas ideas, there's all kinds of. Oh, and also the cookie cutters that I'll be using for a lot of my cookies.
Oh, nice,
this week. So all the materials and the things that I'll be using on my cookies. All right, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again Tuesday. We're going to be back for another tutorial. What are we doing Tuesday? I can't remember.
Bells?
Bells, yes.
Silver
bells. That'll be really fun. That was actually voted on in my group. I was originally going to be doing something different, but they wanted, they liked the bells, and I did too. So we're going to be doing the silver bells. It'll be really fun. And boy, keep those snowmen coming.
Oh,
if you missed our snowman tutorial on Tuesday, actually he's out in my living room. I already put him with my collection of 200 other snowmen. But yeah, if you missed that tutorial, they are turning out so good.
Yeah.
And we've been seeing a bunch of them on Facebook being shared with me, and links to those are down in the description as well. If you want to share with your stuff or join my Thankful Art group on Facebook, I do chats every Thursday at 2:30 in there, live chats. So I'm actually on the screen, which is, I have to put on makeup and everything.
It's a rough
but
day.
I showed all my snow. It's rough. Yeah, it's the struggle is real. Yeah. But I showed all my snowmen this week. So if you want to see those too, if you're curious, you can join that group down in the description there. Anyhow. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.